In this video, I'll be installing the Veritas Twin Screw Vise to my workbench. So Veritas does have a very comprehensive instruction on how to install this vise, but I think it might be too verbose. So if you like a video instruction on how to install this vise, please watch on. So the first thing is to glue up the front and back jaws. The instruction suggests the minimum thickness of the jaw is 1 3/4 inches. So I glued up 3 3/4 inches birch plywood. For the back jaw, since it's integrated with the leg of my workbench, I needed to cut a recess. I cut it out with my Japanese pull saw. And then I glued it up to the leg of the workbench. So here are the items that come with the vise. You've got 2 vise screws, a bag of screws, bolts and nuts, a bag of chain, a chain cover and 2 wooden vise handles. First, I mark out the locations for the holes to receive the 2 vise screws. Since I'm using the default width of this vise, the distance of the 2 screw holes should be 24 inches, and it needs to be at least 2 5/8 inches from the bottom of the jaw. And I drill out the holes with a 1.5 inch fastener bit using a drill guide. The instruction then suggests to add a 2-degree slope to the inner side of the front jaw. I have a 5mm strip of wood and I'm going to glue it to the underside of the front jaw and pass it through the thickness planer. Here I'm working out the locations where I should glue the strip. Next, I can install the vise screw nuts to the back of the rear jaw. With the front jaw tightly clamped to the rear jaw, I can screw on the 2 vise screws. And then I screw the thrust plate in place. Well, the kit also comes with 2 steel dowel pins. They should be installed slightly above the 2 screws. This is to prevent the workpiece dropping directly on the vise screws, therefore causing any damage. The holes I drilled are a little bit oversized, so I use some epoxy to glue them in place. The chain comes with a half link and a full link connector. If you're using the default screw distance, which is 24 inches, you only need the full link connector. You just need to clip it on with a pair of long nose pliers. Then I glue on some 3mm caulk sheet using some contact adhesive. Then I can put the front jaw back in place. While closing the front jaw, I made sure I turn the left and right screws in equal amount to avoid skewing the front jaw too much. With both sides of the front jaw fully closed, now I can tighten the two side screws on the left sprocket with a hex key. Here I'm making sure the distance between the front and back jaw is consistent across the length of the jaw. If it's not, you can loosen the set screws and adjust the screw individually and retighten the set screws once you are happy with it. So here's what you want to achieve for the operation of the chains. Basically, there shouldn't be any slack in the chain. This guarantees whenever you turn one screw, the other screw is perfectly synchronized. Well, finally, I added the screw cover and installed the two vise handles. The front jaw of my vise was made slightly proud of the surface of my workbench, so I planed it flush to the top with the hand planes. So here's a quick review of this vise, having using it for a while. Since there's nothing between the two vise screws, I can clamp very long board in this vise. This can be really handy when cutting dovetails. Also, this vise ensures you are applying parallel force to a workpiece, even if you are clamping it to the extreme one end. In contrast, you can see how my old vise skews when I clamp stuff at the end of the jaw. The vise also allows you to skew the front jaw by a small amount. All you need to do is to disengage the drive pin on the right screw. This will move the right screw independently. To disengage the drive pin, simply turn the screw in the opposite direction and you will hear a click when the pin drops back in place. One thing I don't like about this vise is that once the jaw is opened more than half of its capacity, it's really hard to turn the screw because the weight of the front jaw tilts the vise screws, making them not parallel to the ground. You really need another hand to support the front jaw if the vise is opened more than half of its capacity when turning the screws. Another gripe I have with this vise is the lack of quick release feature. Here I've opened the jaw for about 2 inches, and you can see it takes about 10 full turns to close the jaw, which is quite slow. Overall, it's a really solid vise with a lot of workpiece holding options. But as I mentioned before, it also has a few minor annoyances which may or may not be important to you.